This video is sponsored by PTCGLstore.com, a great place for you to buy Pokemon TCG code cards. Hey guys, in today's video, we'll be showcasing Scolipede from the Twilight Masquerade expansion set. Scolipede is a stage 2 Pokemon with a very unique attack since only a few Pokemon in the game can actually do what it does. For 1 dark and 1 colorless energy, Dastardly Jab puts damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon until its remaining HP is 10. Yes, that's right, it doesn't matter how tanky your opponent is, or even if they have HP buffs, you can just simply reduce its HP down to just 10. There are a few ways to actually get a successful instant knockout with this attack. For example, you can use either Brute Bonnet's ability, or even the forgotten Paldean Clodsire EX's ability, so that you can poison your opponent's active Pokemon, and when you reduce your opponent's HP down to 10 with Scolipede, the poison damage will just knock out their Pokemon between Pokemon checkup. I think this is definitely the easier approach for Scolipede. But for a change, in this video, I'll be trying out Scolipede with Froslass. It has the Freezing Shroud ability, where it puts 1 damage counter to all Pokemon with abilities in play, but excluding any Froslass. And this will not affect Scolipede since it does not have abilities. So the idea here is that when you reduce your opponent's active Pokemon's HP down to 10 with Scolipede, Froslass's ability will do its thing to finish off your opponent's Pokemon with Freezing Shroud, assuming of course that your opponent's active Pokemon has an ability on it. But just in case your opponent's active does not have an ability and does not get knocked out, I have included a couple of Panic Mask tool cards in this build as well as insurance, since it can prevent all damage done to the Pokemon this card is attached to by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon that have 40 HP or less remaining. This works effectively well in some cases because you are constantly reducing your opponent's HP down to just 10. Unfortunately for our opponent's Pokemon where Froslass ability does not work, we will have to revert back to Poison. So with that, you can actually use Venipede's Spit Poison attack where it poisons your active Pokemon, or you can also use Whirlipede's Poison Ring attack, and again poisoning your opponent's active Pokemon, but it can also prevent the defending Pokemon from retreating during your opponent's next turn. And then I also have 1 copy of Munkidori in this build, more for its Adrena Brain ability. As long as you have Dark Energy attached to this Pokemon, you can transfer up to 3 damage counters from one of your Pokemon and move it to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So even if our Pokemon also receives damage from Froslass ability, we can just transfer it to one of our opponent's Pokemon. And you can also use this to finish off a Pokemon that Scolipede has already weakened. To power up Scolipede's attack, I have a couple of Dark Energies in this build. I also have a full set of Reversal Energies. Of course, this will only activate when your opponent has taken more prizes than you and is attached to an Evolution non-rule box Pokemon, but it can easily power up our attacks, counting as 3 energies of every type. And I also have Neo Upper Energy as my Ace-Pack card, which counts as 2 energies of every type as long as it is attached to a stage 2 Pokemon. Scolipede and Froslass is an interesting combo that I really wanted to experiment on, and it actually works pretty well. A few challenges for this build though is that Scolipede is a stage 2 Pokemon, so evolving it and setting it up to attack is quite difficult. And its basic stage Venipede has 80 HP, so we can't use Buddy Buddy Poffin, but instead have to rely on Nest Balls and the Artisan Stadium to search for it in the deck. But I have to admit that its high HP does increase its survivability. Consistency is also an issue for this build, but it's so tightly packed already that I could only include 1 line of Bibarel and 1 Cleffa as my main draw support options. Also, since Scolipede's Dastardly Jab attack is an effect of an attack, your opponent may have a card in their deck that can nullify its effect. For example, your opponent may be using Mist Energy to negate the effect of our attacks. To counter this though, I did include 1 copy of Giacomo in this build, which allows you to discard a special energy from each of your opponent's Pokemon. So by removing those Mist Energies, we can now effectively use Scolipede's HP reducing effect of its attack. But aside from that, I don't really have any other counters in this build, so you'll probably just have to use Scolipede's Sludge Bomb attack, which deals 160 damage, which is pretty decent, and just continue to attack your opponent's active Pokemon. This build is definitely worth trying, but I think the Poison combo is probably the easier approach, but do let me know in the comments below which version you prefer. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below, and now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Scolipede with Froslass. Before we get into the video, I have a small request. If you're liking the content I create, please leave a like to this video, and please support this channel by subscribing if you haven't already. This is a small click for you, but for me, it means a lot. Thank you so much for all of your support. Alright, on to our first match. We didn't get any basic Pokemon in our opening hand, so we'll have to mulligan 3 times. Wow. Alright. We finally got 2 Venipedes, so one goes into the active, one on the bench. And my opponent will be going first in this matchup. And my opponent will get to draw 3 extra cards because of the mulligans we had. And my opponent will start with a Dreepy. We're going against Dragapult EX. Alright, this is going to be a tough one for sure. Because Froslass ability is not going to work, because Dragapult EX does not have an ability. But we can reduce his HP down to 10, and I can see this scenario as being effective for our Panic Mask. But they also have Charizard EX. That one we can definitely knock out instantly. So we'll have to set up our Froslass lineup as soon as possible here. Especially if they evolve into Dragapult EX, we can just gatekeep and put those 6 damage counter to our Snorunt, and we'll never be able to evolve into a Froslass. So we'll have to set that up as soon as possible. But for now, I'll have to use Professor's Research this turn. So I'll just attach the Panic Mask on my benched Venipede. We got an Artisan, and we do have a barrel in our hand, so I'll just set up my Bidoof. That's going to help us to draw extra cards. Keep our consistency. And with Palpad, I think I'll recover Boss Orders and also Giacomo. Because I am assuming that they also use Neo Upper Energy in this build. Because they have a bunch of Stage 2 Pokemon, just in case they want to attack with Dragapult EX right away. If they have access to that Neo Upper Energy, they could do so. So we'll see how my opponent sets up, but we do have a Rare Candy and a Scolipede in our hands, so we can evolve into our Scolipede next turn. And assuming that my opponent can attack and knock out one of our Pokemon here, that will activate Reversal Energy. And there it is. They will evolve into a Charizard EX. That will also activate their Infernal Rain ability, allowing them to search their deck for up to 3 basic fire energies and attach them to their Pokemon in any way they like. But they did attach it to... they attached one to their bench Dreepy, so they'll have to get a switch. They do have an Arven though. There's the switch, and also 4 Seal Stone. So now with Charizard EX fully energized, they can definitely attack here, take the first knockout. And Hero's Cape. There it is, guys. They added 100 HP to their Charizard EX, but it's not gonna matter in this situation, because we just lower their HP down to 10. Doesn't matter. And there's the knockout. My opponent will take one prize card. Again, activating our Reversal Energy because they're ahead in the prize trade now. We can evolve. We even got Neo Upper Energy. That's insane. Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and evolve into our Scolipede. And then we can use our Reversal Energy to attach. And then Artisan, we'll have to set up another Venipede here. You just want to constantly keep up with your setup, guys, because setting up a stage 2 is quite difficult. Hey, we got an Ultra Ball. Now we can set up our Froslass here. That means that Freezing Shroud will take effect during Pokemon checkup, because Charizard EX does have an ability, and we'll take an instant knockout once we reduce its HP down to 10 with Scolipede. So with Iono, we got a Nest Ball and a Super Rod. Let's see. We do have 3 Pokemon that we can recover. I'll just go ahead and use Super Rod. Cover those 3. And then I'll use Nest Ball to set up another Snore. Again, just setting these up early on in the game is good, because once they set up their Dragapult EX, it'll be hard. So here it is, guys. Dastardly Jab deals 420 damage, or reducing their HP down to 10. And Freezing Shroud will take effect against Charizard EX, knocking it out, getting us our first 2 prizes. There it is, guys. Froslass and Scolipede is actually a pretty awesome combo, but it does depend on whether or not your opponent's Pokemon have abilities. I was thinking of combining both Poison and Froslass, but it's just really tightly packed, guys, because Scolipede being a Stage 2 Pokemon decks requires a lot more cards to set up, right? It's rare candies, more Ultra Balls to get those evolution Pokemon, to search for them in the deck. It just becomes really tightly packed. So it's either you choose one or the other. Sometimes that's the scenario. But my opponent will evolve into another Charizard EX, another victim for us, but once they knock out my Scolipede, it'll be a little bit difficult to set another one up. And they are taking one prize card at a time, so that will even out our prizes. So even if we draw into a reversal energy, it's not gonna be taking an effect. It will just act as a one colorless energy, because again, one of its prerequisite is that your opponent has to have taken more prizes than you have. So there it is. My opponent knocks out our Scolipede. We'll just have to sacrifice our Venipede in the active, just in case we can't attack this turn, because the only way we can attack is with Neo Upper Energy. So I'll just make those recovery with Super Rod, use this Artisan to set up another Venipede, and then can use Ultra Ball, maybe discard one of my Arven and Giacomo, and then just evolve into another Froslass, I guess. Or you know what? Let me I do have a barrel. I could possibly draw into Neo Upper Energy. I don't know. We'll see. So let me get Scolipede, use Arven to get Rare Candy, evolve the active. I mean, we've already shuffled our deck. Can we get Neo Upper Energy from drawing 3 cards with Industrious Incisors? We do not. But we got a Nest Ball, so I'll get Monkey Dory. I'll have to transfer those damage counters from Bibarel anyways, because we are taking damage from Froslass as well. So I mean, I could use Monkey Dory to put those damage counters maybe to Radiant Greninja. Get a simple knockout with that, and just worry about the one prize that we have to take out. But they're gonna use Iono or Irida to get a Rare Candy. Do they have a Dragapult? No, they do not. They're just gonna attack with Charizard EX, and we did waste that Rare Candy, but yeah, I like taking chances. Let's see what we get here. At least my opponent is now ahead in the prize trade, so we can actually... Hey, we got a Rare Candy. Let's go evolve into Scolipede. The chances of us, or the probability of getting reversal energy, is pretty high, so we'll probably have to use Professor's Research here. Let me use Industrious Incisors. No. We'll use Professor's Research. Oh, dude, thankfully we got Ultra Ball. I was gonna say, we didn't get reversal energy, but at least we can reduce our hand size here and hope for the best with our Bibarel. So I'll discard those two, get a Froslass, might as well. Do I want to evolve? Because the more damage I take in, my opponent will be getting extra prizes, and that could lose us the game. Especially if they evolve into Dragapult EX, they can spread damage counters and then just finish off multiple of our Pokemon. So I'll whiff that, and taking a chance with this Froslass if I do evolve, but I might need that extra draw. Should I evolve? That way I can draw 4 if I do. Yeah, I'll just evolve, draw 4 with Industrious Incisors. Come on. Hey, we got Neo Upper Energy. That is acceptable. Alright. So Dastardly Jab will take effect on their Charizard EX, and Froslass will finish it off. And there it is, guys. We got 4 prizes with our Scolipede. I am still a little bit worried though, because again, if they do evolve into a Dragapult EX, we don't have Panic Mask in the active, and we haven't reduced anything. All they need is a Psychic Energy, evolve into a Dragapult EX. They can spread damage to Monkey Dory or even our Bibarel, and they can take multiple knockouts that way. Or even just spread a little bit from each and then have them just allow our own Froslass to finish off our Pokemon, so they can actually take 3 prizes. There is potential for that this turn. They can only search 1 card with Forest Sealstone, but no, they're gonna use boss orders. All right, they're gonna try and stall here a little bit, but that will also preserve our Scolipede alive, and we have Arven. I think we still have access to a switch, so we could use that. And they're just gonna instant charge, dude. That is huge. That is a huge turn to whiff. I can attack their Dreepy, take a knockout, and unfortunately we need 3 energies to power it up. And I'd really like to put this Dark Energy on Monkey Dory and transfer those damage to Radiant Greninja so that I can just get 2 knockouts between Pokemon checkup to get the last 2 prizes, but doesn't seem like it's gonna happen here. So we don't have any more switch, so let me just Industrious Incisors. Let me go ahead, and what I could do is just remove some damage from Bibarel, so at least it will survive until the end of my opponent's turn. So Froslass is not gonna kill our Bibarel, you know, but that's gonna take out the Radiant Greninja at least, right? So we got 1 prize, and we got a switch. There it is. So our switch was prized after all. And all we have to do is either get one of the Pokemon with... Oh no, they evolved into Dracloak. Alright, well, either way, we could use Dastardly Jab or just take a knockout, because all we have to do is use Reversal Energy to attach to our Scolipede and even attack just for 160 damage, pure damage, and just get our last prize. But I mean, if they can evolve into Dragapult EX, they can still do that on their bench Dreepy. Retreat their Dracloak, and then there is a possibility that they could take multiple knockouts still. Because Froslass is a double-edged sword in a sense that it also damages our own Pokemon. So my opponent did use Arven though, so they don't have boss orders. I mean, if they have Counter Catcher, they could evolve into a Dragapult EX. Maybe gust one of our bench Pokemon. No, they're just gonna instant charge. That's it, guys. That's it. I can't believe we won that one. And it's all thanks that, I guess, RNG. My opponent did whip a lot of cards that they needed to evolve into Dragapult. But yeah, we're just gonna finish this off with our Sludge Bomb to deal 160 damage to finish off this Dracloak, getting us our last prize to win us the game. Alright, awesome. There you have it. Good game. Alright, moving on to our next match. This time we're going to start with a Snorunt in the active spot. And my opponent will be going first here, so on our first turn going second, we can use our Arven. And thankfully we also have Artisan, so we can set up another basic Pokemon during our turn. But yeah, we're going against Regidrago VSTAR, a very powerful build to go against for sure. And they're using Ogerpon EX to accelerate those grass energies so that they can easily energize their Regidrago VSTAR's attack. But what I'm worried here is that they're gonna start attacking with Dragapult EX, because on their second turn they can use Dragapult EX if they can evolve, energize, and they can just prevent us from evolving any of our Pokemon. Especially Snorunt only has 60. But we're just gonna do our best here, guys. So I'll use Artisan. We do have a barrel in our hand, so I'll just get Bidoof, set that up. And I'm gonna use Arven, get a Nest Ball, and Panic Mask. So let's see what we can get with Nest Ball. Definitely going to get Venipede, but I'm gonna try and prevent or hold off on setting up Cleffa, because that's an easy target for a Dragapult EX attack. Easy knockout for my opponent, and we lose one prize, easy. There's the Regidrago VSTAR. Can they set it up to attack? Because if they knock out my Snorunt in the active and also put 6 damage counter on Bidoof, we'll be left with Venipede and no cards to help us draw during our turn, and we're gonna be stuck. They're just gonna knock us out within 2 turns. So they're gonna Iono though, so maybe we'll get better cards here. We got 2 Arvins, an Ultra Ball, so that could still help us get Bibarel and 1 basic energy. But what I'm scared of here is still that scenario where they set up. So I'm pretty sure they have access to a lot of energies. They have Fire Energy on Regidrago VSTAR already. They're going to use Legacy Star, the VSTAR power ability of Regidrago. But I didn't see much energy. They only have 1. And they also have this Giratina V, which has the Shred attack. So Panic Mask is not going to be useful against that attack. But thankfully it only deals 160. So if Scolipede has a full HP, we should be fine. But I'm just keeping in mind that Panic Mask is not going to be helpful. But the fact that they were only able to recover 2 with Legacy Star ability, they could have recovered that 1 energy, but no way for them to get 2 energy switches for that turn. So maybe they'll whiff it. Maybe they can't energize the Regidrago VSTAR. They didn't, bro. RNG saved us. Okay. So we do survive another turn. We got Neo Opera Energy to draw. We'll just set up another Venipede. And then I can use Arvin. Set up another basic Pokemon. Maybe another Froslass lineup, but I think I'm gonna go with Rare Candy. Because if we do get Bibarel and then we draw into Scolipede, we should still be fine. I think drawing into extra cards is our priority. So I'll just use Ultra Ball. I can discard Arvin and maybe Artisan. And then get a Bibarel. I could attach the basic energy on one of my Venipede, I guess. I don't want to waste the Neo Opera energy. Then draw 2 with Industrious Incisors. Got Professor's Research. Another Venipede. Alright, I might as well put that into play. I'm just gonna have my turn. So at least our Bibarel survived. That's a huge deal, because now we have consistency. We'll worry about the Froslass lineup later on. As long as we can evolve into Scolipede maybe next turn. Reduce its Regidrago VSTAR's attack or HP down to 10. Maybe we can prevent a damage and then worry about the damage spread later on and just slowly knock out their Regidrago VSTAR. So now they are fully energized for that energy attachment and energy switch. But they didn't spread damage, so they didn't use Dragapult EX's attack. They didn't use Shred. I'm assuming it's this Rolling Iron because they damaged for 200. So yeah, I think it's Rolling Iron. So they have damage reduction of 80, I think, for this turn. But if we can get a Scolipede, that would be awesome. Let me use Super Rod to recover my Bibarel lineup. And thankfully our Snorunt survived, actually. That's a big deal. Let me get a Bidoof. At least my opponent will have an option, or at least they'll have to weigh which Pokemon they're gonna knock out first. And I might as well just have 2 Snorunts there. Hey, we got Rare Candy, a Froslass, and an Ultra Ball. This is awesome, dude. Okay, cool. So we'll use Ultra Ball to discard these 2. We can actually get Scolipede set up here and get a knockout against their Regidrago VSTAR and just have them worry about energizing their other one. So we'll evolve that. We have Neo Opera Energy attached. And this is awesome, guys. Alright. So we're gonna use Dastardly Jab on this Regidrago VSTAR, reducing its HP down to 10. Freezing Shroud will take effect, knocking it out, getting us our first 2 prizes. That actually worked in our favor. That's awesome. Bro. Man, if they had used Dragon Bolt EX's attack, I think it would have been better for them. But no, they used the... I don't think that was a good attack to have used that turn. But yeah, so now they have to worry about energizing another Regidrago VSTAR. They have to evolve this one, and majority of their energy switch are in the discard pile, so they don't have that much option to set up another Regidrago VSTAR so that it can attack. And it's just a matter of time before we start knocking out their Pokemon. But my opponent's inactivity is telling me that they are giving up. I don't know. We'll find out. And they're just gonna end their turn, bro. It's like a do or die kind of matchup. If they had gotten that initial setup in the very beginning, we would have lost this game. But now we're just gonna continue to attack. So Dastardly Jab, reduce this Regidrago VSTAR's HP down to 10. It doesn't have an ability, so it's not gonna get knocked out. But we do have a switch. I could probably use Venipede to poison it, get another 2 prizes, and then go from there. Alright, well, they end their turn again. I think it's just inactivity, but if we can still move, I'm just gonna use the switch. We got a switch from our draw there, so I'm gonna use Spit Poison to poison my opponent's active Regidrago, knock it out, get another 2 prizes. Alright, Scolipede and a Boss Orders. So Boss Orders is a big deal too. So we can boss one of their Ogerpon and then use our bench Scolipede. We do have a switch. Use Dastardly Jab and knock it out to get our last 2 prizes to win the game. So either way, whether my opponent has given up, I think we have game with this one. My opponent I think my opponent just gave up. And there it is. My opponent was inactive for too long. Good game. Alright, moving on to our next match. I did have to take 1 mulligan there, which means my opponent draws an extra card to start their turn, but we are going first in this matchup. We have 2 Venipedes ready to go. And to start our turn, we have Ultra Ball. And since we have Big Barrel already, I think I'm just gonna discard these 2 support trainer cards, which seems odd, but I think just getting a Bidoof and evolving into Barrel next turn would suffice. I just want to retain this rare candy and be able to evolve into Scolipede next turn. And it really depends on what my opponent is using. If they can attack on their first turn, their very first turn going second, they could get ahead in the price change and we could start attacking as early as our second turn. But they are setting up a bunch of Gimme Gills, so we're going against Gholdengo EX. And if you didn't know, Gholdengo EX has an ability. So it really depends on how well we set up our Scolipede each and every turn. We might be able to easily knock out my opponent's Gholdengo EX and get 6 prizes. So 2 prizes for each knockout. This is definitely a winnable matchup. True, Gholdengo EX has the potential to one-hit knock out any Pokemon in the game. However, we do have the upper hand in that my opponent will only be taking 1 prize at a time each time they knock out our Scolipede. So let's see how my opponent sets up here. They already have 3 Gimme Goals set up on their bench. They have 1 energy attached to Squawkabilly EX. And all they have to do is retreat it next turn. And once they evolve into Gholdengo EX, they can start attacking. Gholdengo EX only requires 1 metal energy to attack, and depending on how much energy our opponent discards to attack with Gholdengo EX, they can deal tons of damage. Okay, they're going to use Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking That's gonna help them in their next turn if they need a Gholdengo EX. They could have one and maybe an energy. So once they retreat this Squawkabilly EX next turn, evolve into their Gholdengo EX, draw 2 while it's on the active, because it has an ability to draw once per turn. So they can definitely set that up. But to end their turn, they're gonna attack with Squawkabilly EX, dealing 20 damage to our Venipede. And that allows them to accelerate energy from their discard pile to one of their Pokemon. Okay, they attach 1 energy to one of their Gimmighouls. Alright. Got a Pal Pad from our draw for turn. I might as well just recover these 2 because we didn't really get to use them. And that also helps to shuffle our deck. For now, I'll just evolve my bench Scolipede, evolve my Bibarel, that way I can draw 5 cards with its Industrious Incisors ability. And we got our Snorunt. Alright. Froslass is going to be very useful in this matchup for sure, since a lot of our opponent's Pokemon have abilities. Go ahead and use Professor's Research to discard our hand, draw 7. And we got another Snorunt to set up. With this Nest Ball, I could set up a Monkey Dory, but they could just knock out my active anyway, so I might as well just set up another one. And that's gonna do it for us. So as long as my opponent does not get ahead in the prize trade, again, our reversal energy will be useless. It's gonna count as 1 colorless energy only. So hopefully my opponent does not have a boss orders. They could just boss my benched Scolipede. But at least we have the potential to draw extra cards with Bibarel next turn. We can use Arven to get Ultra Ball, evolve into another Scolipede because we have Rare Candy, and all we have to do is find our reversal energies, because 1 basic dark energy is not gonna be enough to power up Scolipede's attack, so that's gonna be our goal for next turn. So slowly but surely my opponent has evolved into 3 of their Gholdengo EX. So now they have their lineup of attackers, and again, hopefully if everything goes well, we should be able to take easy knockouts against their Gholdengo EX. Okay, they're gonna attach an energy to their active Gholdengo EX, allowing it to attack. And they have superior energy retrieval. Discard 2 of their Buddy Buddy Poffin. And anyways, since Venipede still have 60 HP, they actually need to discard 2 energies from their hand to knock it out. So here it is, Make It Rain. And they are discarding 2 energies, dealing 100 damage to knock out our Venipede. So you always have to just think that Gholdengo EX deals 50 damage times the number of energy cards they discard. So we'll just put our Scolipede in the active spot, energize our Venipede on our bench. Since our reversal energy is now taking an effect, that's all we need to attack for this turn. And what I could do is get Ultra Ball so we can evolve our Froslass. And I can also get a Panic Mask to put onto our bench if I need to here. I could sacrifice it though, just so I can use Ultra Ball, but I think I'm gonna hold off on it. And I'll get rid of these 2. And we need Froslass, right? Yeah, so that's our priority. We're gonna evolve into Froslass, and then we can use Industrious Incisors again to draw 4. So now we can actually knock out this Gholdengo EX with our Scolipede. Let's go ahead and use Artisan because we can. Monkey Dory, I don't know how effective it will be in this matchup because my opponent is not dealing chip damage, but they're dealing 1-hit knockouts. So what we're gonna do is just use Dasherly Jab here, reducing my opponent's Gholdengo's HP down to 10, and Froslass will take that last HP, knocking it out, getting us our first 2 prizes. I don't know how easy this matchup is going to be, but yeah, this is definitely an easy matchup, but it can go either way. If my opponent has any disruptive cards that can disrupt our hand, as long as our barrel stays alive, we should be fine. One downside to Scolipede and its pre-evolution though is the high retreat cost. So when we're going against stall decks like Snorlax, control decks, I do have a little bit of a hard time with that one. Okay, my opponent attaches another energy to their Gholdengo in the active spot. And since we are taking one-hit knockouts here, most of the time our opponent's attackers will be full HP for the most part, right? Because right now Froslass is dealing chip damage to all of their Pokemon with abilities on them. You're going to use Boss's Orders to target our Barrel, okay? And that's alright with me actually, because now even though they knock it out, they're removing one of my liabilities because Bibarel is getting damaged by Froslass's ability. They're gonna hit for 150 damage, knocking out our Bibarel. Alright. We can just recover those if we need to with Super Rod. I have 2 in this deck, so since they actually left our Scolipede alive, we could use it. We just need another energy because we have an even prize right now, so our reversal energy is not working. We need to get at least our Neo Upper energy or get a basic dark energy. For now, I'm just gonna use Arven, and I guess I could evolve into another Scolipede, and then if we could draw, well, we can't draw anymore because we don't have the barrel, and I'm using Arven, so we can't use Professor's Research to draw extra cards. So we are in a little bit of a dilemma here. What I'm gonna do is just recover these 3. Barrel does make a big difference. I think, I don't know, the Panic Mask is useful in some scenarios, but I think having 2 Barrels is good. But we do have access to Cleffa also. I might as well just take advantage of this. That way I can draw extra cards. And that also puts me in a situation where I can just leave my opponent to knock out one of my Pokemon. Again, once we're behind on prices, that will activate Reversal Energy. We could just knock out one of their Gholdengo or even their Squawkabilly EX if we need to, and then go from there. One upside to this is that we are taking 2 prizes each time we knock out their Pokemon, while they only take 1. So let's see how my opponent face this matchup, but we do have the upper hand since we are taking 1-hit knockouts thanks to our Froslass. If I were in my opponent's position, I really don't know how I would approach this. That's why in most cases I actually like adding Sizer with 1 energy attack. Although with Sizer, with only 2 Pokemon with abilities, 2 of our Froslass, it's only dealing 100 damage, so it's not even gonna knock out Scolipede. So I'm sure there's a better option to include a 1-prize attacker on a Gholdengo EX build. If you guys have any recommendations, do let me know in the comments below. I think Gholdengo EX is, I mean, it's proven to be a good card. Not as consistent as some, just like Charizard EX, Dragapult EX, and whatnot, but Gholdengo EX is a really, really strong attacker, for sure. Alright, they set up another Gimme Ghoul. And they have Prime Catcher, alright. They're gonna target my Scolipede. They have to switch and retreat, although Gholdengo just requires 1 energy, so it doesn't really matter. They're gonna make it rain. I'm sure they can deal a 1-hit knockout against our Scolipede. And they require 4 energies to discard. So with limited amounts of energies in their hand. I don't know if my opponent can constantly take a knockout here, but we'll find out. But slowly but surely, our Froslass is dealing damage to all of their Pokemon. See how far this takes us. Got an Arvin to draw. So with Ultra Ball, I can use this to get a Scolipede. Again, now that my opponent has taken more prizes than I have, we have reversal energy in our hand. We could power up our active Scolipede, take a knockout against Gholdengo EX, and then go from there. I'm going to use Professor's Research, a very aggressive draw option here. And if we can find our Neo upper energy, that would also really help. But for now, we have Counter Catch. I also have Boss Orders. That's going to be very useful in my next turn. Especially my bench Venipede already has an energy. We don't even need any special energies to power it up. So we just need to evolve into another Scolipede next turn. I could set up Bidoof, I guess. Help us draw extra cards if we need to. And then I mean, I could just take a knockout against this active Pokemon. It doesn't really matter which one I target. Because, yeah, Squawkabilly EX or the other Gholdengo, doesn't matter. So, we're just going to use Dastardly Jab to reduce this Gholdengo EX's HP down to 10. And again, Freezing Shroud will take effect. And we're going to take another knockout. Arbidoof is taking damage though. I don't know. If we cannot evolve it, my opponent will be taking an extra prize. So, let's see how well we do here. We got an Ultra Ball. That means we can evolve into a Barrel. That will prevent this Bidoof from getting knocked out. But that does put us in a little bit of a dilemma because we'll need that Ultra Ball to evolve into another Scolipede. We do have the energy to power up our Scolipede. And I mean, I think we're looking safe here. It doesn't really matter what my opponent does. I mean, they can stall just a little bit for another turn if they want to, but knocking out our active Scolipede is not going to make any big difference. Okay, they're going to use Arvin, Earthen Vessel, and TM Evolution. Okay. Yeah, stalling for another turn is not wise, so if my opponent takes that turn, no, they're not. They're just gonna use it as fodder so they can use Earthen Vessel to draw extra energies. But yeah, if they leave my active Scolipede alive, we can use that dark energy in our hand, put it in our active, and still be able to attack to knock out this Gholdengo EX. Even though we are ahead in the prize trade, we just need this reversal energy to count as a colorless energy, and dark energy is going to help us to attack this Gholdengo EX. So they're just going to take another knockout, getting one more prize, but I think that's game. All we need to do is use Ultra Ball. And yeah, my opponent really has little outs to their situation right now. I think they're just going to have to consider this as a loss. All we have to do is use Ultra Ball, discard these two. We don't even need to set up anything else. Just get our last Scolipede from our deck. We have Rare Candy. We have another basic energy to attach and take a knockout this turn to get our last two prizes for the game. So Dastardly Jab and Froslass will take effect, taking our last two prizes for game. Dude, that is awesome. This Scolipede Froslass is definitely a unique combination. I do prefer, I think the poison damage is a little bit better, and I probably just take off the Panic Mask. Maybe just put one in the deck. But yeah, there you have it, guys. We're gonna get our last two prizes to win this game. And there you have it. And that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and until next time, please stay safe and have a great day.